Yeah, we got a couple of things.
I think we should just go right into what the hottest topic of the entire week has been.
That's what they're here for.
Joe Budden is out here holding down his Podfather #1 position on the Complex chart, long story short. He's out here putting up podcast numbers, moving the culture off of album reviews. He's shaking shit up for real. Like, in terms of
he's
overall,
making Drake mad.
and that means
Which
you
is
won.
enough.
This is like, if we're just, before we even get into the Drake joint, let's just talk about getting your podcast hot, keeping it going. You know, when people of a certain stature decide that like it's up for a certain person, then it's up. Mind you, he was going in to do his regular pod things, and he's coming at this level at all times. But the fact that it got that reaction, though, it was it was the reaction.
Like, normally you piss the fans off on behalf of that person.
Fine.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But
I'm
you
cool.
pissed the head of the snake off.
And the snake retaliated at a high level. It wasn't
real bageful.
Yeah, but it's to be fair, he's been doing it a lot. When he did the whole Charlemagne Instagram post, it was like,
Do you think there's a reason for this trend? Because he's gone at most hip hop media that he tries to ignore and not give interviews to.
I think he decided he finally gonna chill and now he got time.
I don't know what it is.
And this is all good marketing for the album. Like, any buzz, any talk, is gonna facilitate more
for sure.
views.
But the craziest thing in general is that he's reacting. We've talked about how to respond in comments and stuff like that. And it's like, if you can't get it done in 1 to 3 sentences, you've lost.
You wasted your time.
He was like, fuck the rule.
Yeah.
I'm going to put 14 to 25 sentences in this Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, damn.
He technically disrespected us. I saw he said, losers talking from their Best Buy podcast mics. I'm like, God damn.
Jesus, we caught it straight.
I got it from Amazon, but shit still
Amazon,
same.
nigga, put some respect on that Prime, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Wait, who said that though?
Drake.
Drake did. I couldn't see. This is another thing too. Drake's responses, his disses, they suck. They always suck.
He's
you
from
know?
Canada, so we can't
It's
expect.
just like, it's just
It's too polite, right?
the digs aren't even that deep. I read it one time through, forgot half the shit he said. I remember the highlight moments though. He's a failed rapper. This is what he does to pay the bills now.
These are the
know?
punchlines.
Yeah.
They're all important.
I remember the important parts of the rant. The rest, a lot of fluff. It was a lot of, I'm trying to hurt your feelings.
A lot of Maya Angelou quotes that he repracticed.
Yeah, so it was, all that was weird, but I was like, damn, Joe been going, like, and it's funny because this is what he would do with anybody's album. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is literally, he's been doing this since the podcast started, giving honest reviews of all albums, whether they be good or bad. It's always been the same. He's not doing nothing new, but it's like,
It's just
the fact that in this year, his review sets off the largest artist in hip hop in the world or the globally.
And plus, it's just been a lot of people saying that around this album, which is funny because for the last like 4 years, that's how I've been thinking. That's how I've been feeling about most of Drake music.
Yeah.
But this is the album that changed it for me. Like, okay, he's kind of like this.
It's the first time I tuned in for real.
Yeah.
To his album.
Yeah, didn't feel bad about it. Because after a while, Drake just got corny.
Yeah,
I was just tired of accepting.
This is the thing. I'm still kind of just on like the
Exactly.
level that he brought the podcast up. This is a good moment for a podcast in general, just because the level that he brought the podcast up, I think people have felt the way his honest review felt, but he put it to where everybody automatically attached themselves to Joe's opinion on the album. I saw, before that episode dropped, I saw people say the album was trash. I saw it. I saw the mid, but I did not hear the way they described it as well. When Joe dropped that video, all of a sudden, all the people who didn't like it said, I 100% agree with Joe. It was like, that became the trending story. It wasn't the words of, stop hanging out with kids. This sounds like a young man, like, sounds like you're only fucking 25-year-olds. It was like the world attached themselves to this podcast opinion.
And I feel like
which is crazy.
I feel like it's because a lot of people were indifferent. And then when Joe just perfectly places it poetically like that, it's just like, all right, it's solidified now.
It doesn't take much to influence people. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, it does. Moments like this don't happen often. You know what I'm saying?
It happens when Playboy Cardi dropped Whole Lot of Red.
Yeah.
Like, niggas was saying that shit was terrible.
I'm talking about for a podcast. I'm talking about for a podcast.
But the thing is, does this happen if Drake doesn't respond? Because you kind of Joe saying he doesn't like the album.
Yes.
That could happen. But Drake responding kind of qualifies his opinion.
Oh, for sure. But it also didn't help that like instead of me as Drake reading people's tweets saying there's something about this album I'm not fucking with is mid.
You also said something.
They're just saying I agree with Joe. Man, it really make you hate that nigga. Like,
Well, that's why he responded because people were agreeing with Joe. Probably.
no, he really hurt his feelings.
That's what I'm saying. He hurt his feelings, but he also saw it online from other people.
It was the salt in the wound.
Yeah,
He had already cut him open, but that was the salt in the wound. I think.
And most people probably they don't even know how to articulate. Jesus Christ.
Nigga, you forgot there was.
God damn.
Nigga, you was moving actively with
Yeah,
that
yeah.
shit.
But a lot of people probably don't even know why they like don't even like the album.
Exactly.
Like they don't even know how to articulate it.
And
Exactly.
when Joe puts it perfectly like that, then it's just easy to attach yourself to that opinion.
I'm thinking of I don't know, maybe I'm just like, I'm trying to make the connection of like how good that could be for a podcast.
Right.
Because it's one thing to get into a feud with somebody, but there might not be any actual conversion rate over to your podcast or your thing that you're doing.
Yeah, you might have a lot of clips that go viral,
That's
but
it.
niggas subscribing to the Joe Budden Network now because of this amazing
That one
take.
opinion that one opinion I think might have added a lot of new regular fans weekly. See what I'm saying?
because of the way it was had. It was just an opinion that was just
the people,
objectively what it was on the subject.
Yeah, people,
matter.
that's how you, trying to tell somebody you're trying to gain podcast fans is not the easiest shit in the world,
Nah,
especially
that shit
real
hard.
podcast fans.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Niggas that aren't watching just your Bobby Altoff's clips, like the ones who like are listening to the RSS feed and things of that nature. So it's like they either really fall in love with a conversation or an opinion that they heard on that show that'll make them buy in for the 2-3 hours multiple times a week.
Like they're not even tuning in on YouTube for real.
Exactly.
They playing it in the background of their
Exactly.
phone.
So it's like I just feel like you don't see people have moments like that. Perfect example. Brilliant Idiots, they just went viral for Schultz saying Taylor Swift
Better than
is
Beyonce.
better than Beyonce.
Yeah.
The shit was crazy viral. Even if a bunch of Taylor Swift fans came to the Brilliant Idiots, these niggas are gone by now.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
yeah,
They
yeah.
probably had inflated numbers for 2
Yeah,
weeks.
that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like
They didn't stay because of
they're
Schultz's
like,
haircut.
yeah, they're like, hold the fuck up. This is not the vibe. They saw that clip and thought they was bought in, but that viralness of that clip, you bring people in, they're sold on that, and that's regular. That's
Right.
it. That's this nigga anyway. So he might have. It's a big Drake stamped that nigga shit like it's platinum again. Like he's had a good year. Is pretty much what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Oh, pocket watcher moment too. Just throwing this out there. I don't know if it's a nigga part of the team, but somebody said that his Patreon is up to 5,000 subs now. Now I don't know if that's a real number
What's
at
the
all.
rough estimate on that monthly?
I don't know because the nigga got like 3 levels. But I just did like, you know what I'm saying? Just like if we're looking at a roughly
Like what's the what's the
Wait,
cheapest
only
basic? one?
only 5,000?
that's what somebody said. I
That's
don't
kinda
know.
lot,
That's kinda
bro.
crazy,
That's
right?
weak.
Is that weak? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know
weak.
what
I
the
think
number.
that's
I
flagrant.
don't.
Flagrant has 82,000.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good
Flagrant
point.
has 82,000
But
members.
Flagrant shows us who there are. Does the Joe Budden one show? Because you can show
it
many
don't show
people.
it. It doesn't
They don't show it, right?
Yeah.
But we don't know. We don't know what a
We
nigga don't show.
I don't
bro.
think it's 5,000. No, I don't think it's. I think it's
I don't
way
know.
more than that.
Okay, so
Way
maybe
But
more than
even
that.
if it's
Flagrant got
5,000,
82?
yeah, they got 82,000.
82 it's really crazy.
Yeah.
And even if they all paid $10,
Yeah.
for 5,000 people, that's 50,000 a month. That's not the
It's not a
worst
lot,
money in the
but
world.
it's not a lot of money, especially for Joe Budden. And
Not a
feeding
lot of
that.
money,
Yeah, it's
but
not.
That's keeping them niggas alive.
Yeah.
That's keeping them niggas afloat.
So maybe what I saw was just like completely ridiculous. Because I saw something. There's
What does it-
There's
what
no
does it
source
ha-
behind this, but the only reason I brought that up is because I saw on the video somebody was like, somebody part of Joe Budden's team posted this, like the Patreon is up, or maybe they were saying it was up another 5,000 in a day.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That sounds
more
that's more
realistic.
like
That might be more
yeah.
realistic.
Yeah.
Like just today,
Yeah.
after the clip went viral, we're up 5,000 more patrons
Yeah.
today. So that might be more realistic.
So then they really getting money.
which is stimulus
crazy.
package. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one reel
Yeah,
got you
yeah.
50 bands in a
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, that'd
And I
be-
think
that'd
that's
be,
why Joe Budden started having a lot more respect for Andrew Schultz. Just because of that, because they both had big ass Patreons, but
Oh, yeah,
Schultz
yeah,
is just
yeah.
up there.
It is up there, but we don't know where Joe's is at either.
But I think I've heard that he's up there
He's
too.
up there, bro.
Yeah.
He's up
He
there.
has to be.
We can't
But
find this
we just
information.
don't
Yeah, we
know.
just don't know
I'm
what
just
it is,
dying
yeah.
to know what it is.
Let us know in the
what I'm saying?
comments if you're part of the JBP Patreon.
Yeah, let us know what you think it might be.
What
Like,
does it have to be?
Do you think he has to be more than Schultz?
It has to be.
It isn't though. We know it isn't.
You know,
know,
you don't think it
We
is?
know it isn't.
82,000 is a lot.
That's a lot of
niggas.
fucking
a
people,
lot.
bro.
It's a lot of
Paying
people.
at
We
least
got to think
$5
about
a
like
month,
He
or
could-
$10.
he
For
at least
sure,
at
and
50.
what-
the type of hit Schultz is providing is completely different than what Joe was providing.
The fact that he could even get 82,000 people to
true.
buy in on that type of content.
No, it's realistic because it's
more
comedy.
realistic.
Yeah.
It's like fun and it's like laughter.
They market it as like the greatest hang on the internet.
Exactly.
Oh,
but Joe Budden,
Gotcha.
It's topical, right?
I mean, it's Queen's flip. It's Mel when she wants to talk.
Right.
You know
when
what I
they
mean?
let her talk.
Yeah, or when they let.
It's both them other niggas.
Schultz
I don't know.
They can go in there with no current events, no material, and
Nothing.
still be 1,000 times as entertaining.
And with
me,
no mic
that's-
stand.
But to me, that sounds like less people would. I'm surprised. It feels like the number wouldn't be that high,
Bro.
But the fact that like you also know that Joe Budden is going to also keep up with like your daily life or trending topics, I feel like that number, a higher number, is more justified because now it's almost like I'm paying for a more premium news that I prefer.
But
You
the
know what I'm
thing
saying?
is, but if you a farmer, you kind of dependent on the weather. What's being forecasted right now? It could be a low week where nothing really entertaining is just happening in the news.
Yeah, but if 2 to 3 weeks out of the month are always lit, then that's worth the $5 to $10 a month.
But it's
maybe
still,
for you.
And it's
But somebody,
But
if
you
I'm
think-
paying $5, I
Hold
kind
up,
of want
bro.
hot shit every week.
Okay, but let's be fair. 82,000 people buying into Flagrant. I don't think I can listen to any of the funniest people I believe in. The people who I find the funniest, I don't know if I can listen to them 4 times a week and they can keep that fucking funny up. You know how hard that is?
Right,
But you also are hearing them in a different light and context because it's the Patreon.
It
So the
changes.
gloves is off.
You feel me?
You know
Like-
how much shit Andrew Schultz says that just
Yeah.
gets completely bleeped out or edited? You get all of that.
I don't think it's that crazy.
Nah, it's probably crazier than Joe Budden. For sure.
it's probably-
I promise you it's
I need
great.
to buy
And the
both.
reason it is
I need to buy
because
both.
they're
I have to
showing
put
their
this to-
numbers. Like, imagine if Joe Budden had better numbers than Andrew Schultz. It would probably be paraded throughout the streets, nigga. Nigga, I have the biggest numbers.
Yeah, like I have 100,000 patrons.
There's a reason he
That's something
respects
you
him
can
now.
brag about.
There's a reason for that. He called him the 𝙿𝙾𝚂𝚃 on the show on Brilliant Idiots.
That was a dig though.
That
It was a
dig.
dig, but it's also
That's what I was saying.
indicative of there's a certain level of respect he has for Schultz now because he used to I would never had the nigga on my show. He used to completely undermine him.
No, that's true.
He's-
I think he's definitely gotten I think Schultz has done a couple things that he's gotten his respect off of him for. Like